today I would like to discuss about the withholding tax. What do you mean by withholding tax? If you go to the slide and see here, the taxes are divided into direct tax and indirect tax. In direct tax comes under income tax and wealth tax, indirect tax and goods and service tax and custom duties. If you go and see here the slide tax, direct tax. What do you mean by direct tax? Direct tax is a tax an individual or organization pay directly to the imposition entity. When the tax is imposed on income, wealth or property of a person, it is burden cannot be shifted to on others. It is called as direct tax. It is a charge levied straightforwardly on the taxpayer and paid to relevant authority. So if you come here indirect tax is there. What do you mean by indirect tax? Like indirect tax is one of that is added in the cost of product or services so that the person paying the taxes can shift the burden to another person. In this tax, the taxpayer acts as a link and the incidence of tax passes from one taxpayer to another until it reaches end user, that is customer. This means that taxpayer bears the final consumer who consume it. Okay, coming to the withholding tax. Withholding tax means the tax deducted at source by the payer of income. What do you mean by tax deducted at source? At source, the tax was deducted for suppose withholding tax means TDS we call as. This is the TDS we will be calculating on salaries, professional charges, and lottery and example. So etc etc. If the person is earning the salary, the limit was declared by the government that for suppose up to 3 lakhs there is no tax, and like after 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs 10% is valid, like that they will be declared. For example, if you take one, it is also called retention tax. In India, it is called as tax deducted at source. Means the source itself it was deducted. TDS mainly deducted on payment of salary, commission, and brokerage, rent, fees for professionals and technical services. For example, if we take withholding tax under section 192, the payment of salary according to the income slabs. As I told you, no, as per the income slabs, the tax was deducted by the declared by the government. So section 194C is payment to contractor. While doing the payment to contractor, one person if he is individual and others means like 2% it was deducted. And section 194H commission on brokerage and section 194I rent. So what do you mean by like this? If you take one example, for suppose if you are paying the rent to to the client, if you are paying rent to the client, so supplier, so what we have to do is like we will be they will be like slabs of percentage how much it was deducted. While the invoice is coming, at the invoices you have to straight away cut the 10% and you have to pay the remaining amount to the vendor, so that the 10% is paid on behalf of vendor to the government. So that is the concept. So we will see one by one what we have to do. For this we have to do the configuration in SAP. So what are the configuration steps, we will see one by one. So if you go and see, these are the documents we have to follow these steps, configuration steps we have to follow. So one by one we have to see, we should see. So if you go and see, check withholding countries, there are so many countries are there. Like in SAP there are predefined. For suppose I'm going to sign in. If you log in into SAP, so I will show you the configuration part, like what we have to do, necessary steps to configure, and I will show you the master data, and I will show you the transaction data, like whether it is testing, while testing whether it's working or not. So we will go by step. If you go and see here, this is like a SAP screen. We'll go to the SPRO. slash n spro SAP IMG screen. And if you see the document over here, the step by step you can follow here. Here if you see the financial accounting new, financial accounting global setting new, you go here and see financial accounting new, financial accounting global setting new, and here if you observe withholding tax and extending withholding tax it is the withholding tax and extended withholding tax is there, and you have to see check withholding tax countries. Check withholding tax countries. Here we can see for our country like if there is no if there is anything like IN I will give, and here also I will give IN. So they already there is exist like a US they will be there using so, like users will be creating this for our country is IN no, so we look after the IN that we have to see, that's it. And if you want to create you can create a new entry and fill up the details, like if you want to create already is there no, so there is no of use of to create, so we will go for the next step. Define withholding tax keys means like we have to go with the tax keys, like what are the key we are using, like we have to see. This is also like if you go see and basic settings and define withholding tax key, just come back. This is the step. Here also you can see we should give our country and enter, like these are the taxes that we have already created. So if you want to create you can go and create the section you have to give, and accordingly you have to do the description. I have created like 194 I rent, okay. And what I have to do is like define reasons for exemption. Is there any exemptions means like if any semi government is there, like if the company is like in SCZ means special economic zone, they will allow you like they will waive off the withholding tax or tax part, like we will be getting the certificate from government like in SCZ if suppose. So we will see here like semi government like in basic define reasons for exemption. Just you see here the basic settings. You go for the basic settings, define next step, define the reasons for the this one. So already we have created some semi government. This is also like we have to see, and if you want to create your you can create your own. So if you go here and see here define withholding tax type for invoice posting. For invoice posting we have to define no, so what we have to do is like we have to go with the path, same path, and withholding extended withholding tax. Here if you see here, just go back and you can go with the IMJ reference and go financial accounting new, financial accounting global settings new. And if you go here and see withholding tax and extended withholding tax, here the we have to go with the calculation. Here the calculation, and if you see here withholding tax type, okay, and define withholding tax type for invoice posting. For invoice posting we have to do just give your country, and you can see here I have mentioned the T2 Tata Telecom tax type I have created for, okay. This is I will use. You can, if you want to create you can create your own by going to new entry and you have to give over here, that's it, or else you can copy from there. Just I am going back and define withholding tax code. We have to give the tax code no, then only the system will link with the whatever the percentage we are giving and withholding tax, whether it is a rent or salary or commission or like a subcontract, like that we will see here. Implementation, like if you go the same path the calculation part will come. So if you just go with the calculation part, just calculation part, and what you have to do is like withholding tax code is there in calculation, withholding tax type, define withholding tax codes, define withholding tax codes. So here you have to give our country is IN, IN. So you have to give India. So if you observe here, if you can give your new entry like tax type you have given, no tax code also you have to create. You can create like this. What are the tax code I have taken? T2 and T2. You can give and give the description like 194 I rent like this. I will show you. I'll show you again. Here if you take the position, I have given T2. I have created already. Here you can go and see here the T2. So you just, if you observe the tax type is T2 and tax code is T2, I have given the rent, TDS on rent. So okay, you have to create like this. You have to give the session, and if you want to see the details, just select it, and if you can see here, country is IN, withhold tax T2, withhold tax code T2, description TDS on rent. I have given the session 194I. This is the this is the whole, like what 100%, like a whole amount, like what we are taking, like which amount, like net amount. So this is the percentage, 10%, and posting indicator you have to give. One is like standing posting bank vendor. So I have given that. So this is the details. Okay. So I have created. Likewise, you have to create and save it. And assign withholding tax type to company. Whatever the tax type and tax code you have created, you have to assign the company code. Then only for that particular company code, if you post, then it will fetch from the assigning. So what we have to do is like we have to assign it. How we have to assign? Go back. Yes. If you go back and see the configuration, financial accounting new, withholding tax, extending withholding tax, company code, you have to go with the company code. You just minimize it, and you just minimize it. If you go here, the company code is there, and assign withholding tax type to company code. What are the tax type you have created? You have to assign to the company code. If you see here, I have created like a company code TT30, and T2 is our tax code I have created. And if I see here, this is the one. If you want to create, you can go with the new entries. I will show you like details are this one. The company code is TT30, T2 is assigned to company code, and with agent tax you should put tick mark, and this is valid date, like just this is the one you have to perform the activity. So go back and again go back. This that step is perform, and what you have to do is like these are the new entries. If you want to give the tax, any tax you want to create, you can give the, and you can assign the tax which was like defined by you. So if you go activated, extend withholding tax, you have to activate it. How you will activate it? Yes, just go to the position. You have to give our company code, and you have to enter. You just put a tick mark here and save it. Then only the withholding tax is activated to particular company TT30. If you observe here, this is the time, this is the thing we have performed. So please enter the button twice and save it. And you have to create one GL account. You have to create one GL account for rent account /n FS00 to create the GL account centrally. For what we have created, rent is the expenses account. Rent is the expense account. Okay. What we have created like TDS on rent. The GL account is a TDS on rent. Why? Because like we are detecting the TDS on rent. So we have to create one GL account. It comes under liability. So if you go for the liability TDS on rent, this is the I have created. I will show you in detail how to create the GL. So this is the 2008 for TDS on rent I have taken. TD30 is the company code, type and description liability, the balance sheet item, short text is TDS on rent account, TDS on rent account. Control data tab. Only balance is local currency, INR, line item display. As usual, how we create the GL account, like that only 001, the posting key, sort key, and if you go for the create, post automatically should be tick mark, and G001 is the field status group. This is what I have created. Already I have created. If you go with the document and see, this is the thing, and save it. And define accounts for valid tax to be paid over. Means like if you go for the path, extended withholding tax, posting, you just come back. I want to, I showed this screen now, I want to close this screen. Yes. And again I would like to see, I want to again log in the user ID and password. If you go here, we are configure no SPRO, IMG reference, financial accounting new, financial accounting global settings new. If you go here withholding tax and extended withholding tax, if you observe here, we have to go for the posting. Now, if you see here in the document, step by step is there. Posting accounts for withholding tax. Where is that accounts for withholding tax? Here is the withholding tax, withholding accounts for withholding tax. Define accounts for withholding tax to be paid over. For which account we have to pay over for the withholding tax code? Just execute it. And here this is asking the chart of accounts TT30. I have created my chart of accounts. This is the account I am assigning here. Okay, this is TT30. This is the extended withholding tax. I have created a withholding tax step T2 and withholding tax is T2. And I have what I have created TDS and rent GL account is created now. I have stated that linked here the GL account. So for that GL account only it will be calculating the withholding tax, nothing but a TDS. This is the one. I have saved it. Likewise, you have to go and you have to give your what you have created the GL account. You have to say, define it over there for particular withholding tax to be paid over. This is the one. This is the one. Okay. And what you have to do is like next step. You should make sure that SPRO just go back. System is slow, the server is slow, and again I will go for the IMG screen and SPRO logistics will be there. You go to the logistics once. The SPRO logistics, just observe where is the logistics here. Here the logistics is there, the logistics general. In logistics general, what we have to give is tax on goods movement. Yes, if you see here the tax on goods movement is there. Our country is India, and here if you observe here basic settings, and what you have to do is go with the maintain company code settings. This is the thing you have to do it. Just execute it. Here you can see you can create new. I have already created. I will go to the position TT30. Here is my TT30 is there. Like if you select it, if you show the, if you can see the details, you can see like this. You have to save it. Again I will come back, and what we have to do is like for which vendor we are creating, we have to link with the vendor no for withholding tax. So I am for TT30 company code, for this vendor I am creating no, just to put it. How many vendors are there? Only one vendor is there. Like I have created. If you observe here, the vendor general data, company code data, and purchasing data. General data is common. For company code data is as per the company code level. Purchasing data is like a client level. These are two like client levels. This is like company code level. So withholding tax we have to extend no for this vendor. Just click on, and you have to specify here T2. T2 what we have created tax type and tax code. You should be tick mark label over here, and you have to save it. Okay, that's what here he mentioned. And what we have to do, we have performed all the configuration steps and we have to do the testing. In FB60 vendor posting, we will make sure that our company is TT30, and you have to give the vendor name here TT30. Only one vendor is there, that is Varsha Logistics, and I am giving today's date. Amount I am giving 1000 rupees. Okay, text will be like being invoice posted, and for rent I have to give, no, I have created for rent account. So I TDS on rent account. So what we have to do is like already there is like 3000 is there, I am expensing for the rent, and amount is 1000 rupees I am giving here. The debit is should be equal to credit. This is the mandate field over there. The text you have to give being invoice. Just keep on enter. GL account 3000 is irrelevant to tax code. Check. So what we have to do is like we have to go with the yes. This is a warning message. Just keep on enter. And if you observe here, go with the withholding tax, and it's telling that yes, T2 is there. It was linked. So what we have to do is like we have to simulate it. Yes. Just here, if you observe here, 1000 rupees is rent. 900 rupees is like paying to Varsha Logistics. Why? Because 100 rupees is deducted on TDS. So if the line item, if you observe here, the rent account debtor to vendor account credit as per the accounting. So if you observe here, 40 is the GL account line item 1, 40 is the GL account debit, rent account debit 1000 rupees, and if you go here, 50 is the credit for GL account, that is 2008 we have created TDS on rent. So we are deducting 10% from 1000, no, 100 rupees on behalf of vendor. So if you observe here, 900 rupees should be paid. So here 10% is deducted. So what we have to do is like just come back, and editing option is there. You go to edit option and make sure that the calculate tax on net amount. Okay, it's okay. So net amount we are calculating. So it's right. This is the entry. This is the entry. You have to post it. Just you have to post it. Less. That's the one. I have told you, no, this is the entry. Just click on and ignore the warning message, and you just go to this and you can do it. This is the entry. So this is about the TDS. So what we have learned in this withholding tax means withholding tax is nothing but TDS. TDS is nothing but tax deducted at source. At source we are deducting. For suppose we are paying the rent. Suppose for the rent the 10% is applicable as per the government declared the percentage. So if you paid the rent 1000 means 10%, if you deduct means you have to pay on behalf of vendor to the government. So it is like a liability, it will be credited. So two line items will be like created. One line item is Varsha Logistics is created, and 50 is the 2008 TDS on rent, it is also created, and rent amount will be 1000 rupees. This is about the TDS or withholding tax.